Don't throw away those old pair of jeans before you watch this video. For the first project, you'll need a large tin can and obviously a pair of jeans. You measure around the can from the top of the jeans and cut to measure. Let's put that aside for now and find a nice piece of fabric and cut a rectangular shape that's going to fit around the tin and also more than the length of the tin. Start gluing it around the top part of the tin with the fabric upside down. Once it's all glued down, you turn it over and tuck it inside the tin. Now we get back to the jeans and that cut piece and we start gluing it around the tin. I like to leave the patterned fabric as an edging on the top. And you keep gluing all around, making sure to stretch it so it sticks well and nice and bold. I also glue all around the bottom part and stretch it to remove any creases. When that is all nice and stretched, I start sticking down underneath, turning it around and putting a lot of glue and obviously stretching it to straighten any creases.
That's my jeans.
Turn it over, take out the material that's tucked in the tin and make sure it's not too long for the tin. If it is, just trim it off. I put it in place, get a paper plate or any cardboard that you have, and I'm going to cover it with the fabric, the jeans fabric, to put a base inside the tin. I do the exact process for underneath with a piece of cardboard and fabric and glue it down to neaten the bottom. I had this leather handmade with love written on it and stuck it on the top. Cut off the sides of the jeans, which are a bit thick, and stuck them on the top as handles and placed some buttons to finish it off. I'm using mine for all my scrunchies and hairbands. For project number 2, you will need, this is a yogurt plastic container, a rectangular piece of denim from the legs of the jeans, and I glue it around the top, upside down. Turn it over as we did for the first project and tuck it inside the container. In this case, I didn't need it to be long because I will be using it for a plant. If you're going to be using for other things, then the material has to be wider. For the next step, I go back to the jeans and cut off all the pieces which are like the seams, which are hard denim. And I cut as many strips as I can. I also had this old house coat and this had this really lovely floral belt, and I cut strips of the belt to stick it around the container. So I was layering some denim and some floral, depending on how you want it. I continue in this way till I reach the bottom, and then with the same method I used for my previous project, I cover underneath to finish it off neatly with some cardboard and fabric. This will make a lovely pot holder or for any other use. For the third project, we're going to make some pretty denim flowers. With a round shape, I'm using the lid of a container. You make 5 circles intertwined and draw a line across and then just cut around. With a needle and double thread, do a running stitch across the top part. And when you reach the end, you pull and it forms into a lovely flower. Join the edges from underneath and then I sew on a button for the middle. You can use these flowers for any project. For the fourth project, we're going to need triangular shape, any size, cut out from the jeans. And you can make as many as you wish, depending how long you want the banner. You'll need some rope or string, depends how strong you want it, and you start gluing the triangles on the string. I'm using my finger as a measure from one triangle to the other. I keep doing this till I've used all of my triangles. To fill up the space in between the triangles, I'm going to use any colored ribbons that I have. I make the first length and cut many of different colors for the rest of the banner. When all the ribbons are tied up, I decided also to add a little pom-pom on each triangle, and I used the glue gun to stick these down. These banners will look pretty in a garden or for any party activity. For project number 5, we're going to cover a shoebox. I cut off the top of the jeans, the length of the box, and then with another piece of fabric, I cut out a rectangle large enough to go round the box and double the length and started sticking it at the top of the box. Again, I then pull it up and tuck it inside the box. This time it has to be long enough to fit inside the box and cover all the sides. I then glue the piece that was left at the top, and I started gluing down the jeans that I had cut out. I keep gluing and stretching till I reach the other side and glue the sides. I also add glue to the bottom and I stretch it in place so it will stick well and will have no creases. I cut off the excess length from the bottom and stick down with the glue the bottom, always stretching it in place. I'm using the lid of the shoebox to finish off inside. I cut the lid and the cardboard smaller than the size of inside so it will fit. I check the size and then I cover it with the fabric in the same way as I did the other projects, by gluing it around on the cardboard and placing it inside the box. I like to work in opposite directions so I can stretch the fabric whilst I'm working. For underneath, I just got a piece of denim fabric, folded the edges and glued them down, and then I glued it onto the bottom of the base. This time I didn't use any cardboard to do this. I'm using the thick seams of the jeans to create 2 handles and sticking some buttons to decorate. Since I will be using this for my makeup and creams, I had a piece of perspex and I cut out the size to put it inside the box so I can wipe it. For the last project, I'm using a length of the jeans without any rims, just a clean piece of denim, and I am sticking it around the bottom part of a tomato sauce jar. I'm sticking it down with glue gun, neatening underneath. I cut a seam from the jeans to fit around the jar and stick it around. And also where the fabric joined, I added a piece over there. For the top part of the jar, I'm going to be gluing some jute ribbon. It takes a while to do it because the string keeps slipping, so you have to put glue every so often and keep it tight and stretched. I used one of the denim flowers that I made and stuck it on the border. When I put the jar to the light, I noticed that I had some gaps, which I wasn't liking. I wanted a better finish. So I had some jute braid and stuck it around where I had some spaces. As a finishing touch, I added some string and wooden beads. To neaten off the bottom, I used the same process with the cardboard and the fabric. This is going to make a pretty vase for the spring flowers. Hope I inspired you to save those old jeans and be creative with them. Let me know in the comments below which one of the projects is your favorite. I will see you all on my next video. Bye bye!